Now on Denver 7 News at 4, it's back to the drawing board for the Aurora Police Department. After a last-minute change, the search for a new police chief is going to take just a little longer. We break down the next steps.
Restaurants that never received government funding to help them during the pandemic are still feeling those effects, where they say the industry could be headed now. And not having a college degree is holding many people back from being considered for higher paying jobs. The new efforts to help break through the so-called paper ceiling.
Plus, Broncos Nation pulls out the blue and orange again. We take a look at tomorrow's game against the Colts and what quarterback Russell Wilson says about playing Thursday night, even with an injury. Thank you for joining us. I'm Micah Smith. First at 4, the search for Aurora's new police chief will continue for just a little longer. This comes after one of the 2 finalists withdrew his name from consideration, leaving one finalist who didn't have enough support from city leaders to move forward. To give some context on the process, as the candidates were announced, community backlash grew, raising concerns about the lack of diversity and community voices being left out of the process. Denver 7 spoke with City Councilman Curtis Gardner, who says he thought the 2 finalists were qualified for the job. Moving forward, he says council needs to regroup and figure out what they want in a candidate.
My take on it is we really need to expedite the process. We need to take into account the feedback that we've gotten and apply that feedback to find the right candidate.
On Denver 7 News at 5, we get a full breakdown on the shaky start to this search and what needs to happen next before a final decision is made. And over in Denver, the data shows people are dialing 911 more often compared to 2020. Calls for service from citizens went up almost 7% in 2021. More calls strains a system trying to overcome staffing shortages. And those shortages can lead to wait hold times for those calling 911. But there's good news on the horizon. Denver 911 Director Andrew Dameron says their current academy class will put the agency at about 81% capacity for call takers. If everyone in the class graduates this coming spring, it'll be the highest staffing for Denver 911 call takers since 2021. Still, Dameron says keeping new recruits and consistent staffing is a constant challenge because of how tough the job can be.
It means working nights, it means working weekends, it means sacrificing time with their family, and it means helping people in very difficult situations, and that can take a toll. And so I think the reality set in for a few of our candidates, and they wound up deciding, I'm not sure I'm ready to do this just yet.
Coming up on Denver 7 News at 6, we'll take a closer look at staffing shortages impacting other 911 centers across the metro. Northglenn police say the 2 boys who were fatally shot by a homeowner had a gun and a machete. The shooting happened near 116th and Pearl Sunday afternoon, and police say the juveniles broke a fence to enter the backyard. That's when officers say shots were fired between one of the boys and the homeowner. Police say the victim stole an airsoft gun from a nearby burglary. That gun was a factor in the shooting. The cleanup continues 1 week after Hurricane Ian made landfall in southwestern Florida. President Biden visited some of the hardest hit areas today, along with the First Lady, promising more funding from the federal government for emergency response efforts. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest from Fort Myers.
1 week after Hurricane Ian ripped through southwest Florida, President Biden touring the devastation, getting a first-hand look at the path of destruction left behind, and meeting with people who have been affected.
It's going to take a lot of time, not weeks or months. It's going to take years for everything to get squared away. And we're not leaving. We're not leaving until this gets done.
The president announcing the federal government will now cover emergency response costs for 2 months instead of 30 days as originally planned.
Yesterday, Lee County alone, the search and rescue teams examined 24,000 structures just in this county, making sure we're accounting for everyone who still may be trapped.
Federal search and rescue teams already rescuing more than 3,800 people and 200 pets. FEMA has over 4 million meals and 10 million bottles of water ready to go. The National Guard also providing supplies. So many relying on temporary shelters to house their families, thousands picking up basic essentials like food and water to get by every day.
You're without AC, no lights, no nothing. Basically, we have to find ways to cook. Some of us are burning wood. I mean, life is hard. And what we can do is just get back up and try to make the best of it.
Governor Ron DeSantis briefing the president on recovery efforts and what's needed the most.
You know, these storms come, they're on the horizon. You kind of project, hey, it could be really bad. Oftentimes it doesn't necessarily get to that level. Well, this was the full Monty. So I'm just thankful that everyone's banded together. We've got a lot of work to do here.
And a sign of progress on hard-hit Pine Island, a temporary bridge opening to the public today to help with recovery efforts after their causeway was destroyed in the hurricane, cutting them off from the mainland. Rena Roy, ABC News, Fort Myers, Florida.
All right, thank you, Rena. And Denver 7 Gives is partnering with the Scripps Howard Fund for hurricane relief. You can make a donation by texting STORM to 50155 and following the prompts. You can also scan the QR code on your screen right now or visit denver7.com/hurricane relief.
Gas prices could start going back up. OPEC, a group of some of the world's most powerful oil producers, announced plans today to cut production by 2 million barrels a day. The organization says the move is to boost the price of crude oil, which has fallen since Russia invaded Ukraine. Energy analysts say if OPEC succeeds, higher prices at the pump should only be temporary. A historic SpaceX crew is heading to the International Space Station. You're looking at video of the launch from the Kennedy Space Center today. The commander of the 6-month mission is Nicole Mann, the first Native American woman ever to travel to space. She spent her life as a Marine Corps pilot and an astronaut with NASA. Her trip comes 20 years after the first Native American man walked in space. Organizations are hoping more people like Nicole make it to space. The nonprofit Aerospace Corps is working with about 30 companies to encourage more diversity in the field through internships. It's part of a larger plan from the White House to boost the space workforce. Big names like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Boeing have signed on to hire 3,000 college interns by next summer. So far, about 600 people have gone to space around the world. But according to NASA's website, only 65 have been women and only 17 have been African American.
It motivates and create a culture within the organization where everyone feels that there's an equal opportunity to be able to succeed and to elevate their career. So being able to, see someone that resembles you.
This also applies to space-related positions that stay on the ground. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is predicting STEM jobs will double in the next decade. Since the internship program doesn't exclude students who are not majoring in STEM, Aerospace Corps hopes it will give them a second chance at becoming interested in the field.
Students are dropping out of STEM at an early age, from 3rd grade to 5th grade. And in order to continue to, build a pool of underrepresented, individuals into STEM, we need to actively be able to reach into that population.
She says Aerospace Corps also plans to help interns get full-time positions in the space industry after college. For more info on how to apply, visit the website on your screen. High car prices and rising interest rates have more people turning to longer loans, even 84 months in some cases. What to consider before you get into one of these.
And later, Colorado is now considered a hub for car thefts across the state. How manufacturers are taking action to keep Coloradans safe from thieves.